What's up, everybody? I watched a video on Netflix last night. I was just scrolling through and it came by as a suggestion. It was a video, or it was a documentary about Tony Robbins. And I think it was called I Am Not Your Guru. It was good. I didn't really know too much about Tony Robbins other than that he's helped a lot of people and is like a motivational speaker. It's a good movie. It's worth seeing. And he talks about how most people are so busy surviving and living that they don't take time to actually design a life. And it got me thinking a lot about what I've been through in my own journey and everything. And I'll share some of that. I mean, over the last 11 years, I've been battling back, spine, and nervous system issues and had multiple operations, and I've seen so many doctors. And it's been a long road. But what I realized over that 11-year journey of healing is that most of the healing I needed to do was emotional and spiritual and psychological. And I realized that we draw to us what we put out into the world. And without getting overly complicated, our subconscious thoughts create our worldview. And our worldview shapes our perception of everything going on around us. And science says that our brains can only process several bits of information out of millions that come into our awareness each second. So we filter out all that stuff that doesn't fit into our worldview based on past experiences and memories. And that creates our reality and our present. And most people don't really even take the time to think about how they do that. And one of the best ways that I can possibly recommend to anyone out there who's looking to design their life on purpose is to have a morning and evening practice of some kind. And what I usually do is go through my day. I just recount my day at night before I go to bed. And I think about all of the things in life that I'm grateful for and what was abundant. I think about how many people smiled at me that day. I had an abundance of smiles. If I go through the drive-thru at Taco Bell and the person hands me a handful of salsas, it's an abundance of salsa. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. The streets are amazingly clean. There aren't any potholes anywhere. We have a street sweeper for the sidewalk. My wife and I joke, we call it the sidewalk Zamboni. I mean, I'm really grateful that I live in a place that's clean and it's safe, relatively speaking. There aren't guys in Jeeps with machetes driving down my street, killing people for no reason, like in crazy places in Africa. I mean, I have clean air to breathe. There's air conditioning in my house. I don't have a car payment. We have clean water. There's all kinds of stuff. And, I think making a gratitude list before going to bed, either writing it down or doing it in your mind and recounting your day and thinking about all the amazing things you have to be grateful for is important. And I've also found that whatever mood I go to bed in, I tend to wake up with. So if I go to bed thinking about all of my problems, I wake up thinking about all my problems. So recounting the things I have to be grateful for helps me to go to bed with a clear head, because up here it can be a bad neighborhood. It's not always the best place to be spending time. And with self-pity, I've learned, it's okay to visit Pity City, but don't move there. Don't sign a lease. And going over the things I have to be grateful for helps me out of that. And then when I wake up in the morning, I do energy work on myself to open up my chakras. I know that sounds weird to some people, but we are energy first and foremost. And once I've righted myself, and then I go inside and I'm thinking about, how do I want my day to go? How do I want to intend my day? What are the few things that I want to get accomplished? And what are the things I want the universe to take care of? And another great activity, I would tell you, take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, and on one side write down things I will do today. And be realistic, 3, 4, 5 things. And then on the other side, write things I want the universe to take care of. And then write down everything else. And I promise you that if you do this habit for 30 days, you will find that a lot of those things you asked the universe to take care of, that you allowed the universe to take care of, will have taken care of themselves on their own. And by focusing on the things that we have to be grateful for, we will draw more things to us to feel grateful for. You can design your life on purpose. I know it for a fact because I've done it and I'm doing it right now. I was in daily agony for 7 years with back pain. And then from years 7, 8, 9, and 10, brought to my knees randomly on an almost daily basis because of just pain. And I've worked my way out of it. And there are physical things I've done, but there is a ton of emotional, spiritual, and psychological work that I've done. And I'll share those things with you because I think that that's how I can make a difference. You know, Tony Robbins, at the end of that documentary, he said, I want you to think about the thing that you are most grateful for. And there were 2,500 people in the room, and people are crying. And what I'm most grateful for is that I don't use a walker. I don't use forearm crutches anymore. I'm able to sit down in this chair comfortably for longer than about 10 minutes. When I only sat down for 10 minutes at any one stint comfortably for almost, I don't know, 8 or 9, maybe even 10 years. No movies, no travel, nothing. And I'm so grateful that I can sit down, and go to a movie with my kids and watch TV and take a road trip, whatever. So grateful. And by focusing on how grateful I am to have that in my life, I will draw more things to me to be grateful for. And I encourage you to do the same. So start with a morning practice, spend 10 minutes being quiet, write a gratitude list, intend your day. Do the same thing at night. Throughout the day, read, set 5 minutes aside to read. If you have an office, close the office door, spend 5 minutes breathing and just paying attention to your lungs, expanding and contracting as you breathe air in and out. That stuff is important, and 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, it makes a difference. It does. It does, I promise you. So, I feel good. I hope you do too. Have a good day.